The beginning of all things was silence. Before rivers carved valleys, before thunder sang its fury across the skies, before men and women breathed the first fire of life, there was only the voice of the gods. And that voice was not one, but many. They sang in unity, weaving mountains from whispers, summoning seas from sighs, and shaping stars with the beating of their eternal hearts. But power is never still. It shifts, fractures, and demands. The gods, though eternal, were not immune to envy. In the highest realm of existence, where golden winds carried the scent of eternity, a council of deities gathered to make a pact that would decide the fate of all creation. The world below was fragile. Mortals, though gifted with spirit, lived in chaos, wars without purpose, and greed without end. To bring balance, the gods bound themselves in a sacred covenant. Each would lay aside a fragment of divine power, sealing it into the mortal realm. This power, hidden in forgotten places, would ensure balance. Mortals rising to high would be humbled, and darkness swelling to deep would be checked. Yet even as they swore this pact, a shadow stirred among them. Of all the gods, one remained silent during the oath. Nyoka, the god of secrets, whose face was always veiled in shifting smoke, watched as the others cut their palms and let their blood fall into the silver chalice of eternity. Fire, wind, water, earth, and light all mingled into a radiant pool. Mortals would never see this light, but its essence would pulse through every age. Nyoka poured his offering too, but as he did, his whisper crept through the chalice. Why bind power in fragments when one hand could hold it all? The words were soft, almost lost in the chanting of the others. But words have weight, and whispers from gods sink deeper than iron. So began the fracture. Centuries later, in a village nestled between two rivers, a boy named Akina was born beneath an eclipse. His mother said the sky itself had hidden its face at his arrival. His father, a farmer, believed it was a blessing, but the elders whispered it was a warning. Akina grew quickly, stronger than others, sharper than most. He could hear things others could not, voices in the wind, murmurs beneath the ground, the sigh of stars. At first, he thought it was madness, but one night, while wandering near the forbidden caves of Ober, he found it an orb of light buried in stone, humming like the heart of the world. When his hand touched it, visions consumed him. He saw the gods, their blood falling into the chalice, the binding of the pact. He heard Nyoka's whisper, and then he heard another, "You, child of eclipse, will finish what they began." From that night, Akina was no longer merely mortal. He became a vessel of the forgotten gods' fragments, though he did not yet know the cost. The world was not one, but many kingdoms. The northern empire of Kodoro, with its armies of bronze and iron, sought to conquer the southern lands of Umeji. To the west, desert lords bowed to the sun, and in the east, the ocean tribes worshipped the tides. Each kingdom believed their power absolute, but beneath their wars, the sacred pact slept until Akina's awakening stirred it. At 16, Akina could command storms with his anger. At 20, he could heal the dying with his touch. Kings sought him, priests feared him, and warriors wished to destroy him. But Akina did not seek crowns or altars. He sought truth. Why had the gods chosen him? What was the sacred pact's true cost? The gods, though diminished by their sacrifice, were not blind. They sent guardians into the mortal world, spirits bound in flesh, neither fully divine nor fully human. They were watchers, meant to guide or destroy those who touched the fragments. Akina first encountered them in the forest of Namiru, where shadows moved with thought. Out stepped a woman, cloaked in emerald, her eyes burning with a flame that revealed too much. She called herself Esh, daughter of flame and silence. Her duty was clear: if Akina strayed from balance, she would end him. But Esh saw more than danger in him. She saw the burden of a soul caught between destinies. She walked with him, tested him, warned him of Nyoka's whisper, and revealed the truth. The pact had cracks, and those cracks were widening. Every pact requires sacrifice, and every sacrifice demands its price. The fragments hidden across the earth were never meant to remain untouched. By awakening one, Akina had awakened them all. Across kingdoms, strange events unfolded. Rivers ran backward, stars fell, and dreams became flesh. Kings called it sorcery. Priests called it judgment. But Akina knew it was the gods' forgotten covenant unraveling. Then came the voice. It haunted him in sleep, in silence, in storms. Nyoka whispered, "Why balance, when dominion is possible? Why fragments, when wholeness can be seized? Take them all, Akina. Become more than God, more than man. Become eternal, Esh fought to shield him from the whispers, but she could not fight destiny. For each fragment he touched, Akina grew, and with each, the world trembled closer to ruin. Word spread that a man had risen with the power of gods. Some worshipped him, others sought his death. Armies marched not for land but for possession of Akina, to use him as a weapon or martyr. The council of elders in Kadoro declared him a false prophet. The high priests of Umeji crowned him the living covenant. The desert lords built statues in his image, and the ocean tribes hunted him across the waves, but all of them missed the truth. It was not Akina they should fear, it was the Pact unraveling. One night, beneath a sky torn with crimson lightning, Esh revealed what she had long hidden. She too was bound by the fragments. Her life, her flesh, her very existence was tied to the covenant. If it broke fully, she would vanish into nothing. Her eyes burned with grief as she confessed, I was never meant to live a mortal life. I was born of their promise, a shadow given flesh. If the pact dies, I die. Akina felt the weight of this truth. For the first time, the whispers of Nyoka grew louder, tempting him with a way to save her. Seize all fragments, remake the covenant in his image, and bend destiny. But Akina feared such power. The gods returned, not in flesh, but in storms, in plagues, in visions that cracked the earth. The forgotten ones, angered by mortals touching their covenant, demanded repayment. And so it was that Akina stood upon the mountain of echoes, with Esh beside him, armies below, and gods above. The chalice of eternity shimmered once more, calling for renewal. Nyoka's shadow descended, no longer whispering but roaring, take it, end their lies, rule as one eternal voice. The other gods thundered, restore the balance, child of eclipse, fulfill the pact. Akina's heart tore between paths, seize, restore, or break all. In silence, he raised his hand, fragments swirling like suns around him. Mortals wept, gods trembled, shadows waited, and Akina spoke, no one voice shall hold eternity. Not God, not man, not shadow. The pact was flawed, but it will not end with me. He shattered the fragments, scattering them into wind, sea, and fire. Power exploded across the realms, burning both divine and mortal flesh. The gods screamed as their essence fractured, fading into silence. Esh's body flickered like a candle in storm. Her time had come. She smiled once, whispered balance at last, and dissolved into the air. Akina, broken and scarred, stumbled down the mountain, no longer God touched, no longer chosen, just a man. But across the world, whispers lingered. In rivers, in dreams, in storms, echoes of gods long forgotten. And so the tale ends, not with crowns, not with love, but with silence. The gods are gone, their whispers scattered, their covenant broken. Yet power never truly dies. It hides, waits, reshapes. The question that remains is this: when the whispers return, who will listen? If you enjoyed this tale and want more stories where myth, love, and destiny collide, make sure to subscribe to Mythic Love for more timeless legends retold.